In this lesson, we'll learn about image-based design and how we can implement that in our graphic design projects. All right, so now that we know that the role of a graphic designer, one of the hats they wear is communicator, and we also know that they have some tools in their toolbox that they can use to communicate a specific message for their clients. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more in detail about one of those tools, and that's images. Now, in a previous lesson, we mentioned that an image can be a photograph, an image can be an illustration, or it can be some sort of digital image, or maybe even photo manipulation, as long as that image communicates the message. That's really the most important thing about that. So let's go ahead and talk about image-based design, because this is a kind of a very specific thing, but it's fairly easy to understand or grasp. So image-based design is simply a graphic design project or piece that simply relies on the image, a specific image to carry the weight of that message. It communicates specifically through an image of some sort. So let's go ahead and take a look at some projects that we've done here at Digital Tutors that I would say are image-based designs. So I want to simply kind of cycle through these images. This was a female android photo manipulation that I have done for one of our courses here. Now you can see here that there currently is absolutely no type in this particular design. Now, does that mean image-based design doesn't use type at all? No. In my opinion, you'll find some typographic elements playing a role in image-based design occasionally, but the main important thing to remember is that the weight of the message is carried by the image, not the type. So let's go ahead and move into some other designs here where maybe there is some type involved, and we're going to kind of evaluate them based on the role of the image versus the role of the type. So we'll just kind of move over here. This is a t-shirt design that we did here at Digital Tutors, and you can see here that really the focal point of this design is sort of this illustration here of this bleeding heart, this heart that's bleeding pixels. So in terms of visual weight, what is your eye drawn to in this project first? Hopefully that's a really easy question for you to answer, because it should be this heart. This should be the image or the illustration that's at really the center of this particular piece. In this piece, the type is really playing more of a supportive role for the image. So again, this is a specific type of design, a t-shirt design, but image-based design really can't be restricted to a certain type of project. You'll see image-based design everywhere. Why is it so effective to communicate with an image in our designs? Well, they can be very, very powerful, and they can be compelling. Images are also very, very versatile. We're bombarded with images every day. They're all around us in every form of advertising and design. That's because they're effective ways to communicate. An image can very, very quickly stimulate a response from the audience that's viewing it. Now, that response may vary from person to person, and it's oftentimes based on an individual's personality or maybe their particular association or even their previous experiences in life. But an image can stimulate a response of some kind from the audience. So here's another design that I would consider to be an image-based design. Now, there is some type in this design, and this type is pretty predominant, but I still feel that the image factor of this design weighs heavier than the type factor of it. So we're just going to kind of move on again and look at a few more designs. This particular design is actually a website design. This is an interactive website. So looking at this, obviously when you're dealing with a website design, there has to be some form of type involved. So but the main component that's communicating the message in this design is this really appealing image of sushi. As a matter of fact, if you switched this image with, let's just say, an image of a park, and you didn't read any of this type, you would have no idea what this design is about. It's the image that tells you what you're looking at long before you've ever read any of this supporting text that's around it here. So again, I would consider this an image-based design. So we're going to go ahead and cycle through here. Image-based design can reach even outside of the computer into the real world around us in terms of maybe outdoor signage. In this case, a very large billboard. Now, in this billboard design, this automobile is front and center. So this image is the first thing you should see on this billboard when you look at it. It's commanding the most attention, and it's obviously a very, very expensive sports car. So what type of message does that communicate? What kind of response does that stimulate from maybe somebody who is in the market for a high-end sports car? All right, now if we go ahead and move on here, this is an advertisement intended for print. And again, this is for some kind of a hydration advertisement, but again, predominantly image here. The image is used to convey the message. It's used to convey the message in this case that you should hydrate your body, that your body needs this liquid, this life-giving liquid. So again, the image bearing all the weight here. So lastly, one way to actually implement image-based design, and in my opinion, you probably see this more often than not, it's in magazine design. Anytime you walk into a bookstore and you see all of these magazines, each one of those magazines is going to have a cover image of some kind. Most of the time it's some kind of a photograph or some kind of a digital image, a manipulation of some kind, but that image is driving the design of that magazine's cover. Usually that image is regarding maybe a feature article inside that magazine, but nonetheless, there's an image on the cover of each one of those magazines, and it is enticing you to pick that magazine up. All right, great. So now I know a lot of these images that we've just looked at really implement both images and type. But I think the first step to mastering image-based design is to really restrict yourself to just using an image to create a message, or to convey a message rather. So in the next lesson, we're actually going to start with a small little mini project, and we're going to practice doing just this. So let's go ahead and get started with that in the next lesson.